In 2014 psychological mystery thriller film titled Before I Go to Sleep, directed by Rowan Joff. The film starred Nicole Kidman, Colin Firth, and Mark Strong as the main characters. The film got IMDb rating of 6.4. The best story, the best acting, the highest direction touched the heart of the audience. At the beginning of the movie, we see a woman who was sleeping with a man she didn't even know. Strange, isn't she? So come now, let us tell you in detail what is the matter after all. So in our story, the woman who has just woken up is Christine. Now she does not even know the one with whom she has slept all night, nor does she recognize the house in whose house she slept all night. Then she gets up from the bed and takes her clothes and goes to the bathroom. On the walls of bathroom are photos of her and the man with whom she slept through the night. She walks outside after noticing the wedding ring on her hand. Ben, the second character in our story, waits for Christine on the bed. He tells her that they got hitched 14 years prior and that she's 40 years of age. Ben informs him that she injured in a minor car accident 14 years prior, as a result of which she acquired a few wounds which made it incomprehensible for her to recollect everything. She can remember things of day for a few hours, and when she goes to sleep at night, she doesn't remember anything the next morning. When she wakes up the next day, she thinks she is 20 years old. Ben tries to convince her of these things, but Christine can't believe him. Then while making breakfast in the morning, Ben tells Christine some memories of their life and marriage. Before leaving for the job, Ben gives her a list of things Christine might need, and explains where to find them. She receives a letter which says that he has to pack the bag. Ben tells her that he will take her to their wedding anniversary. After going Ben, Christine is now home alone. After a while the telephone rings. On the other side of phone, Dr. Nash is talking, who is treating Christine to bring back her memory. Dr. Nash tells her that Ben probably doesn't know about the camera. He tells Christine to look for the shoebox hidden in the room. When Christine opened that box, she finds a video camera in that box. The doctor tells Christine to turn on the camera. That camera contains a recording of Christine saying her memory problem. In a distant scene, the doctor tells Christine that he had given this camera to Christine 2 weeks ago, and at that time he told Christine that 10 years ago she was found by the police in a very injured condition in some industrial area, and seeing his condition so serious, it seemed that who had repeatedly attacked his head with some weapon. He did not have an accident, but someone had conspired to kill him. Dr. Nash understands to Christine that Ben doesn't want Christine to panic when she learns about the deadly attack. That's why Ben told Christine that she had an accident. And yes, no one knows whose plot was to attack Christine. Now Christine couldn't even believe Ben, because she didn't know what else Ben was hiding from her. During her treatment period, she records every day's observations in the camera. A few days later, Dr. Nash takes Christine to an inaccessible place where Christine was found by the police. Describing the incident of that day, the man working at that place says that, on the day of the attack, Christine was in a very serious and injured condition, and there was not a single cloth on her body. She was wearing a bedsheet, which probably means she was staying in some hotel. After all this story, Dr. Nash and Christine come to the conclusion that she might be with someone else that day, not with Ben. After some time, Christine is taken for treatment. Meanwhile, she is shown some pictures as a treatment. Seeing these various pictures, he remembers a girl named Claire, who and Christine had a very close friendship at one time. Later in the story, Christine asks Ben in detail about Claire, so Ben tells her that in the past, Claire and Christine were close friends. But after the accident with Christine, she went to live in another city. Ben didn't mention Claire because he was upset with Christine's forgetfulness. And hearing this, Christine would have been troubled. After this incident, Ben hides all the pictures of Christine and Claire. And when Christine remembers a few things after looking at old camera recordings, so Christine understands that Ben is not worthy of her trust. After seeing those suspicious photos, Christine remembers what happened to Claire. The incident in which Claire told Christine about her pregnancy, and then Christine remembers that she too is having a boy. She once again looks at the pictures pasted on the wall and at a photo album, and as well as on the stomach itself, the signs of post-pregnancy. As a quarrel with Ben, she asks about her son, then Ben tells her that they had a son, but now he is no more. After some time, when Christine's anger cools, Ben tells that their son's name was Adam. Adam was 8 years old, but he died due to being very ill. Christine, crying, looks at the pictures of Adam. Then she also receives a letter, in which Adam has asked his mother to come home. Then Christine was admitted to the hospital because of that accident. After hearing the whole story, Christine considers herself guilty of Adam's death, and the same thing she records in the camera. In the night, he starts remembering some other terrible incidents, in which she sees a person named Mike, and she also sees that there is someone who was trying to kill her. In her next meeting with Dr. Nash, she reveals that she trusts her doctor, and feels that she is safe with him, and in such a situation she cannot trust anyone else. The relationship of these two was now taking a new turn. They started coming very close to each other, and then Christine's eyes see the name Mike on the doctor's identity card, and now he feels that Dr. Nash is the reason for his plight. Then she starts running away from the doctor. The doctor catches her, and makes her unconscious and drops her at her home, then calls her at night and tells her that she is not able to make the right decision right now, because her mind is confused, and she is engaging herself in those blurred memories. That's why she's mixing both Nash and Mike. Christine also learns that Ben had become very upset due to Christine's deteriorating mental condition, and on this basis, Ben had admitted Christine to the hospital, and then get divorced. With this, Dr. Nash tells Christine that, at that time, Claire tried hard to contact Christine in the hospital, but Claire did not know that Christine has been discharged from the hospital. Christine talks to Claire when she finds Claire's phone number. Upon receiving Claire's phone number, Christine talks to Claire, and invites her to meet. When the two of them meet, Christine recognizes Claire, and appears very happy. In a matter of things, Christine learns that, before that painful accident, Christine was in love with someone else, and when Christine's memory was gone, Claire and Ben's relationship was established, but Claire says that, in order to save Christine's married life, she distances herself from Ben and Christine. Claire gives her an old letter from Ben that Ben wrote for Christine, and said that whenever Christine's memory comes back in the future, give it to her. Christine is reading Ben's letters on the way. Ben writes for Christine that he loves Christine more than his life, but he has to leave Christine for their son Adam, because Adam was afraid of his mother and her mental condition. In the letter, Ben has written that Christine should understand the situation of Ben. After reading this letter, Christine starts believing in Ben. She starts getting attracted to Ben again. Now Christine tells Ben the truth about her treatment, and she also tells about the camera. Following Christine's statement, Ben asks her whether Dr. Nash and her are having an affair, and by slapping her, he leaves. Now Christine calls Claire and tells about this act of Ben, but Claire can't believe that Ben can do something like this to Christine. Claire tells Christine that she will talk to Ben about it. Claire tells Christine to have Christine and Ben talk about it once again, but when Claire talks to Christine on the phone again, Claire tells her that Ben is saying that he hasn't seen Christine in years. Claire asks her to describe Ben's personality, and then they learn that the person Christine is living with is someone else, not Ben. Christine's mind starts running high. She starts remembering the horrifying moments she had with Ben, and she tries to run away from there, but an unknown man makes her unconscious. When Christine wakes up again the next day, she forgets everything again. Then she finds a camera, the recording of which shows Christine, who is saying that she loves Ben very much. Subsequent recordings, in which the entire true incident was recorded, were erased by some unknown person. Now the second scene appears with a new twist in the story. It is something like this: the unknown man whom Christine was still thinking of as Ben, the same man makes a phone call to Christine, and asks to pack the goods, because he wants to take her along with him on the anniversary. Now that unknown man goes to Dr. Nash and threatens Dr. Nash to stay away from Christine. That night the man takes Christine to the same hotel, which is in his vague memory. This is the same hotel near which Christine was found very injured after that painful accident. Now that man in this hotel room tells the whole truth in front of Christine. He further reveals that he was only pretending to be Ben so that Christine could be with him, and he says that he is none other than Mike, the same Mike due to which Christine has become in this condition. Christine now starts to remember that she and Mike had an affair, and Mike wanted Christine to tell Ben about their affair, but Christine categorically denied this, and on this, Mike became uncontrollable and badly injured Christine, due to which she became a victim of amnesia. Mike further tells him that Adam is still alive. He says that he loves Christine a lot, but what should he do? The situation is such that he has to force Christine to be together. Now Christine tries to run away from him after hearing the news of Adam being alive. alive. At the same time, there is a lot of fight between them, but Christine escapes by dodging her, and turns on the hotel's warning device. Within a few moments, the police come and manage to save him, and while sitting in the ambulance, she is recording the whole thing in the camera. In this scene, Christine opens her eyes in the hospital, where Dr. Nash visits him as a friend. He tells Christine that Mike has been arrested. He further explains that someone has come to meet him. Maybe with the help of that person, Christine's memory will come back. Then in the hospital room comes the person who is the real Ben. He apologizes for keeping his distance from Christine. Christine tries to recognize her but cannot recognize her. But when Ben tells her about Adam, she starts remembering something. The next moment Ben brings Adam. After many years, mother and son are looking at each other, and seeing him, Christine remembers the thing that she always used to say to Adam. In this way, after meeting her son, Christine's memory comes back. And the movie ends here with this lovely scene. So my dear friends, if you like my movie understanding style, then please subscribe, like and share Movie Analyzer channel. Thanks for watching.